Hey everybody, it's Alex from 40 Hours of Freedom coming at you today to share with you how we installed our solar panels on our van. Now, this is something that if you're going to be building out a van, you're going to have to figure out your electrical system. How are you going to power your van? We decided to use solar panels, and this video is brought to you by Renogy, who hooked us up with our solar system for this van. We've now been testing it for about 2 months, so we're going to share with you the install process and how that's been working for us as we've been on the road for the last 2 months, putting over 7,000 miles on this bad boy.
Today is solar day, so I have been working on getting my 3 100-watt Renogy solar panels configured with my Aluminess clamp-on solar mounts. So we're using 3 100-watt Renogy panels, and this is facing the front of the van. So as you can see, I have them all offset to the passenger side. That way it gives me room on the driver's side to actually walk around so that I can get all the way to that front panel to actually clean it, because you do need to regularly clean these panels. So now that I have it all set, what I'm going to do is go ahead and mark where I'm going to have these sitting, and then I'm going to need to drill some holes through these Renogy panels on the back side to mount. This one that's going to be on the front, though, it already has holes drilled on the long side, so I don't need to pre-drill those, but I need to pre-drill these ones on the top, and then I also need to pre-drill the Aluminess mounts. So here we go. I have my first bracket lined up with where I am going to be drilling it. So you can see I've made some marks for where I'm going to be drilling through the mount and then into the panel. And I'm going to be using number 8 stainless steel bolts to hold that in. And I've just got spring clamps on to hold. When I was drilling to install these solar panels to the solar mounts, I work my way up from really small bits up to bigger bits. And the reason that you do that is you can be a lot more accurate starting with a smaller bit and then slowly making the hole bigger and bigger versus starting with the final bit size that you're trying to get to. So I've gone ahead and taken it up on the roof and taken my mount that I haven't mounted it to yet up as well, just to make sure that I have it aligned, because if I bolt it to the frame but I'm not aligned, then I'm not actually going to be able to get it to sit on the rack. So I've gone up, I've readjusted my measurements, and now I'm going to drill and mount the second mount.
When you are working with metal and you're drilling through any kind of metal, there's always going to be lots of metal shards left around, which on a van can actually cause rust. So if you notice, I'm using this vacuum a whole lot. The Handy Vac was a huge help during our build and really did a great job of picking up all those metal shavings. So I'm cleaning up as I'm going along.
Now that I have it all put together, I'm actually going to take it apart in 2 sections. I'm going to take the front panel off so that I can get it up onto the roof and then reassemble the front panel to these back 2 panels. But for everything I'm not taking apart, I'm going to go ahead and put it together with Loctite. So if you want to make a connection with a washer and a bolt that's going to be really strong, I highly recommend using this stuff. Now that we have the panels taken apart, I'm going to get up on the roof and figure out where I want to run the wires through these clamshells. I have 1 clamshell for each wire. These are going to be coming off the solar panels, so I'll have a negative and a positive coming off the panels, and they will go down through here and then connect to our solar controller in the upper cabinet. Alright, so I have got the 2 sections of the panels up here. So the 1 panel in front is attached to the front mount, the 2 panels in the back are attached to the middle mount and the back mount, and so now I just need to attach them all, and then at that point we'll flip the whole thing over and get it mounted on the rails. My 2 clamshells installed, so tomorrow I am going to go ahead and put some self-leveling sealant over those, and then that will wrap up the mount for all of my solar. So I've got my 3 100-watt panels mounted, connected, and running into the van.
So that was me installing the clamshells on the roof. Now I'm going to show you where those wires actually came down from the roof into our electrical compartment. So this upper cabinet we devoted as an electrical compartment. When I open this up, I've got an electrical panel on the front with my Victron Energy battery monitor, with my controller where I can turn on my inverter. I also have my tank monitor system here, our switch for our S-bar heater, and also a remote control for some LED rope lights we have underneath our toe kick. Now when I open this up, this is the compartment that those wires are coming down to. So you can see I have these labeled. So battery to controller, these are the wires that are actually coming off of my Renogy Rover solar controller and going to my batteries. The wires that are actually coming from the solar panels themselves into the solar controller, I have over here on the very far side, coming right down through the top of that compartment and then running in to the solar controller itself. Within the electrical system, there's obviously going to be a learning curve after you install that. And so we've been road testing this system now for about 2 months. We love the way that our solar panels are mounted using the Aluminess clamp-on solar mounts to the Aluminess Rack. That is awesome. It saves as much space as we can on the roof. They're really easy to clean, and we love being able to walk around on the roof up there. Now, when it comes to integrating the system with our Battleborn Life Pro batteries, that has been a little bit of a learning curve, figuring out how this solar controller works with those batteries, figuring out, an accurate battery reading for how much power we actually have in the batteries, because all battery monitors are not necessarily going to give you an accurate reading. There's a few things that you're going to want to look at if you're using a Renogy Rover solar controller. One of the first things is how many amp hours are those batteries taking in every day. We average about 100, and if we're staying pretty consistent with about 100 amp hours of charge, then we're going to be really good with this system. We're not going to have any issues with getting low voltage with our battery system shutting down, because Life Pro batteries actually will shut themselves down to preserve the batteries if the voltage gets too low in the battery bank. We've had that happen before, but we've also learned that that's because we are not actually getting enough sun maybe for a few days to charge that full system, and that's why you have to have a backup way to charge your battery bank. You can't just rely on the solar. In a van, a lot of people use, connecting to their alternator as an additional way to charge their batteries. So when the van is running, after it charges the starter battery, it kicks over to charge your battery bank. We did not do that in this van. We do have the 3,000 watt Victron inverter charger. So if we're not getting a lot of sun for 3 or 4 days, what we will do is we will just plug that inverter charger into shore power, charge up our batteries. We wait until we see the solar controller get to absorb, and then we know that that battery bank is ready to go. And then we're honestly good to go for another 4 or 5 days without having good sun. But on average, like I said, even on kind of a partially cloudy day, we're getting anywhere from 80 to 120 amp hours charging our battery bank. And for what we're running in this van, that works awesome. Hope you found this video helpful when it comes to mounting your solar setup on your van. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more van life content, living on the road, working remotely, because that's what we're all about with 40 Hours of Freedom. And until we see you guys next time, thanks.